online with online dating prospects can be a little tricky at times. And today I want to talk about two common communication challenges that come up frequently online for my clients in my programs, in my private coaching programs, and in my group coaching programs. And today, just this morning, I've had two clients reach out to me, each with different dilemmas, but both of these dilemmas are very, very common. My name is Michelle Marchant Johnson. I'm with Love Life Coaching, and I'm here to help you be that woman of high value who helps you to meet and attract your high quality man. So I'm so glad you're here. And navigating the world of online dating can be a little bit tricky sometimes. And I just want to talk about two of the most common dilemmas that happen most frequently. So the first one is when you exchange messages back and forth with someone and there's a conversation going and maybe you're enjoying that conversation, but the man never seems to really quite get around to stepping up, asking you out, or taking it to that next level. And in fact, one of my clients in my membership program, in my Mr. Right Academy, made a post today in our private group, and she mentioned that she'd been messaging this man throughout the holidays. And she says, today he wrote me about his travels and coursework preparation and wrote quite a bit. Then he closed by saying, I have to say that it's been very pleasant and interesting being a pen pal over this holiday season. Then she goes on to say, but he did not make any reference to looking forward to meeting, etc. And she says, I don't want to lead, ask questions. What do you suggest I do, if anything? That's kind of the short version. And so I wrote her back, and this is some advice that I would give. Not just to her, but for all of you, this is something to keep in mind. So I said, you are a woman of high value and you're not a pen pal. So if you've exchanged several messages and you think he's for real, then I actually do think it's good for you to ask for what you want in the form of a suggestion. So the right man will be willing to make the effort. You could just say something like, yes, you're right. It's been fun to be in touch over the holidays. I'm enjoying the conversation and think it would be nice to hear your voice or meet in person. Now the holidays are winding down. If you'd like to make a plan to call me or a plan to meet, I'd enjoy that. Looking forward to it. So she's sharing what she wants in the form of a suggestion, but she's still putting the ball in his court to make the plan to call or a plan to meet, and letting him know that she's open to that and that she would enjoy that. This allows, and this is the rest of my message to her, this allows you to find out if he's going to step up and do anything, and you're expressing what you want, but still having him be in the masculine as the one who takes the initiative to make the plan and follow through. If he doesn't do anything, then next, move on. After you've expressed something that clearly and directly, if a man doesn't step up, then it's probably time to move on because you're not a pen pal. And then I wrote to her, part of being a woman of high value is not investing too much of your time and attention on someone until you know he's for real and is willing to put some time and effort into getting to know you. And then I said, and this is an important point, it's also important as well because the scammers always have an excuse as to why they can't meet, etc. So the whole scamming thing and scammers online, that's a whole different conversation, but often they have excuses or reasons as to why they can't ever meet in person. And so it is a good way to just kind of see whether or not someone is interested or inclined enough to step up to make some effort to get to know you, because you are not a pen pal. And as a woman of high value, you're not going to be dedicating a lot of time, energy, effort, and attention into something unless you know that someone else is invested in doing that as well. So that's just one scenario. I think it's fine. There's no magic number, in my opinion, as to the number of messages you send back and forth. But if you sense that a conversation has gone on long enough that you need to kind of know a little bit more or explore a little bit more to see whether you want to continue to invest your time and energy into it, then I do think it's fine to make a suggestion or a request in the form of a suggestion and invite him to take it to the next level in the way that I modeled there. So that's one question that comes up quite frequently, and I just thought that might be helpful. Now, in this other scenario, I got an email from one of my private clients today, and she received a match message from someone a few days ago. And in his first message, he compliments her on some of her physical attributes, is very complimentary. And then he says, "What makes you extremely happy in a committed relationship?" Which is kind of a direct and personal question to ask specifically right out of the gate. And I think that's fine in one way, but I also think in this case, this man had very little in his profile, and it's really hard to tell whether he's for real or not because there's not a lot of detail about him, who he is, or his interests or hobbies or background or anything like that in his profile. And I sometimes think that the online interactions like this create a false sense that people have the right to be asking really personal or direct questions right out of the gate without the emotional foundation or relationship to justify that. And so what I recommend is that you might want to ask this person a few more questions about themselves and see what they reveal and kind of redirect a little bit in terms of the conversation. So what I recommended to her was that she said something like this. I'll tell you what I actually recommended to her. So I said, I'm a bit uncertain if he's legit. And if you do decide you want to continue the conversation, I think it would be good to shift it a bit. What I mean by that is there's so little information in his profile, it's hard to tell if he's for real. So I think you could say something like, "It's nice to hear from you. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. There's not much to go on in your profile. I'd love to hear about your hobbies, interests, and most of all, what you enjoy doing for fun in your free time." So what we're doing here is we're shifting away from the whole conversation about what you most want in a relationship or a partner, which is kind of a deep opening question, and asking him a little bit more about himself, because then you can ferret out a few more details and you can see if he seems to really know the local area and some of his hobbies and interests and things that were mentioned in his profile. So another way to handle this is if he says, "What makes you extremely happy in a committed relationship?" right out of the gate, you don't necessarily just have to like totally sidestep that. You can say, "Wow, that's a big question," because each relationship is unique. Shared values, mutual respect, along with a little chemistry comes to mind. And then shift into what I said before. Tell me a little bit more about yourself, as there's not much in your profile. What do you most enjoy doing in your free time on the weekends? And what adventures do you have planned in the year ahead? Something like that. So basically, seeing a little bit more about this person and learning a little bit more about this person so you can find out if they're legit. But my point here is that just because someone asks you a question, particularly if it's really personal or if it's really direct, or you don't feel like there's an established relationship to support that question, does not mean you need to give a big long answer about what you most want in a loving, committed relationship. If someone asks you how long you've been online, you can say something like, "Oh, a while. Interesting to see all the different people out here, isn't it?" So in other words, you can kind of deflect a little bit and then redirect the question or redirect the conversation with a question in another direction so that you can get to know them a little bit more before you start revealing a lot of personal feelings or personal thoughts about yourself. I just think it's tricky sometimes because I think sometimes the online forum creates a sense of Oh, I don't know whether it's because it's a cyber conversation. It creates a sense that someone might have the right to ask more personal questions than, in my opinion, is really justified, because these people are strangers initially right out of the gate. So I think talking about lighter topics, hobbies, interests, things like that are good conversation starters. And then, yeah, as you get to know someone better, then talking about some of these deeper topics makes a lot more sense. Okay, I hope that helps. I just wanted to make this quick video because this has been the theme of my day today, are some of these common online dating communication challenges. I'd be curious to know your thoughts. Please feel free to leave your comments or questions below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. One of my big intentions is to grow my YouTube channel, and also let me know if there's anything I can answer for you. I'm cheering you on, sending you love, blessings, and wishing for you to have a beautiful day. Bye for now.